Hello and welcome to Computology Academy. So today we are going to discuss about our next question, that was question number 11, that was related to fly ash in the series of our mains answer writing practice. So here the question was that the NGT has taken the cognizance of fly ash problem due to the thermal power stations, and here it is the introductory part where the keyword is fly ash. So what is fly ash? Fly ash are the residual material that is left over after the burning of coal, and here the main composition, the major composition of the fly ash are oxides of silica, aluminium and calcium. However, we can also find the traces of arsenic, borium, cadmium, chromium, etc. also, and these are quite polluting materials. So here the next part is related to the question, that is discuss the methods and the government measures for the utilization and scientific disposal of the fly ash. So here there are two parts in the question, that is first one is the methods that should be used for the scientific disposal and utilization of the fly ash, and the next part is the government measures, that is what kind of measures are being taken by the government. So here let us start with the discussion, and here first of all we will discuss about the introduction, and in the introduction we will discuss about what are the directives that has been given by the NGT. So here the NGT has directed the thermal power plants to take the cognizance of the problem of the fly ash generation, as well as take the proactive steps to utilize and properly dispose of the fly ash that is being generated. And here it has also said that the non-compliant plants will be penalized. They will have to pay the environmental compensation in that quantum up to which they are causing the damage to the environment. So here it has also been given the notice, the red alert, a kind of red alert has been given to the thermal power plants. अगर आप लोगों ने properly dispose of नहीं किया, सही से utilize नहीं किया, environmental damage आपके कृत्यों के कारण आगे होता रहा, then you are going to be penalized for that matter. And the NGT has also directed the CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board, to ascertain the quantum and to take the cognizance and to make a list of all those thermal power plants who are non-compliant, as well as to ascertain the quantum of damage they are causing in their vicinity. And for that matter, they have also made a committee comprising of the members from the Central Pollution Control Board as well as from the members of IIT Roorkee. So these two institutions are providing the members to the committee which has been formed by the NGT, and they will ascertain the quantum of damage that is being caused in the vicinity of the power plants, the thermal power plants, wherever they are functional, what kind of damages they are causing to the environment, what is the quantum of damages, and they will submit the report accordingly to the NGT, and accordingly the power plants will be penalized. So this is a good initiative. But here let us see about the fly ash generation in India. What kind of fly ash, how much it is being produced, how it is being utilized, all those things will be discussed. So first of all, the Indian power plants, the power plants which are functional in India, most of them are based on coal and lignite, and here the backbone is provided by these power plants in the power sector in India. So these power plants form the backbone of Indian power generation and power distribution sector, and major capacity addition nowadays even are coming from this coal based and lignite based power plants itself. So whatever the new power plants are being erected and constructed, all of them, not all of them, but most of them are coal based and lignite based, and because of that what happens here, the coal available in India, that is low grade coal. Here what happens, the Indian coal produces 30 to 45% of ash. The total amount of ash, the coal to ash ratio which is being produced after burning the coal, that is 30 to 45% in India. The Indian coal has higher component of ash content, while whatever the coal that is being imported, that is containing only 10 to 15% of the coal. That is why it becomes more prudent and beneficial for the Indian power plants to import the coal from abroad to generate power, because in India it is the coal which is causing more pollution because of generating more quantum of fly ash. And here what happens, larger area of land is needed for the ash disposal. As we see here, there is higher amount of production of fly ash. So if the production is more, then we will need more land area to dispose of these fly ashes. And here it is a major source of air and water pollution. Whenever the fly ash is generated, as well as whenever these fly ash come with the smoke out of the chimney, they get added to the atmosphere and they add the particulate matter in the atmosphere, PM 2.5 as well as PM 10. As well as if they are disposed of as landfill, then whenever there is rainwater percolation to the groundwater, then they dissolve the harmful materials, harmful chemicals that are present in the fly ash, and because of that the water sources are also getting polluted. And here generation in India, the quantum of generation of fly ash in India is about 217.04 metric ton. So this is the amount. This is the amount of fly ash that is being generated in India, and out of that only 77.59% of the fly ash is being utilized. And this is the data for the year 2018 and 19. The 1920 and 2021 data is still not available. But according to this data, it becomes evident that still we need to do much more. So that is why NGT is taking cognizance of this matter, so that the utilization, the quantum of utilization of the fly ash can be improved. And here there are various methods to dispose of the fly ash. One method is dry fly ash disposal, which is done through dumping the fly ash in the dry pits in an embankment, and that can be done through transporting the fly ash from the generation plant through trucks or through conveyor belts. And the next method is through the method of slurry. The fly ash is mixed with water and a slurry is made, and thereafter that is transported to dumping pond through pipelines. So these two methods are being used in India to dispose of the fly ash. And here the utilization of fly ash, what kind of utilization, what is the utility of fly ash can be there. So here it is used in agriculture. In agriculture, the fly ash proves to be very beneficial because it increases the water retention capacity of the soil, as well as it increases the aeration in the soil. It also provides various micronutrients to the soil like potassium, calcium, phosphorus, etc. And because of this, the fertility as well as the productivity of the soil increases. So this could prove beneficial for the agricultural sector also. Next is, it is used in variety of construction work. So in the construction work, the fly ash is used to make the bricks, blocks, tiles, etc. As well as it is mixed with the Portland cement, and it provides more strength to the concrete when it is mixed with the Portland cement while making the concrete. And here it proves that the weight, even the weight of the construction will be less and it will subside less because the fly ash is lighter than stone and other construction materials. So it can also be used to make the embankments also along the river coast, or it will be helpful in making the lighter structures of the bridges etc. also. So it will prove very beneficial in the construction field also, and it is also used for manufacturing absorbents. So here it absorbs the harmful gases. For absorption of the harmful gases, fly ash material can be used to make the absorbents, as well as it can be used for purification of drinking water as well as treatment of the wastewater. So such kind of absorbents can also be made using the fly ash. Now, what are the government measures? The next part of the question. Before this, we were discussing the first part of the question. Now, the second part of the question. Here, the government measures. First of all, the Central Electricity Authority (CEA) is monitoring the generation of the fly ash since 1996-97. The CEA works under the Ministry of Power and it has been authorized to monitor the quantum of fly ash that is being generated by the thermal power stations, and that will be reported to the Ministry of Power as well as to the NGT and other related organizations. Now, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has issued the directive for promoting the fly ash utilization in 1999 itself. Since then, there are provisions that mandates the thermal power plants and other related sectors and organizations to utilize the fly ash that is being generated from the thermal power plants. And this regulation and these norms have been amended from time to time, that were amended in 2003 also, thereafter 2009. Now the latest one is 2016, and according to this, the major provisions are that the thermal power plants need to update the availability of the fly ash every month. They have to do that. It is mandatory for them. What is the amount of fly ash that is being generated every month, they will have to update it, as well as whatever the stockpile that is available with the thermal power plants. So those who are in need of, who are utilizing the fly ash, who are making the fly ash products, they will be in better position to source their raw material. And here it has been also increased the jurisdiction. The jurisdiction has been increased from 100 kilometer to 300 kilometer. Earlier, it was mandated that till the distance of 100 kilometer, the fly ash transportation will be done by the thermal power plants, as well as those brick links and other sectors, as well as those organizations or the contractors who are fulfilling the government work, who are engaged in the government scheme works like MG Narega, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, etc. They will have to utilize the fly ash material. Now it has been increased to 300 kilometers, and also the cost of transportation here till 100 kilometer, 100% transportation cost is borne by the thermal power stations, while between 100 kilometer to 300 kilometers, here 50-50 will be the share of the transportation cost between the thermal power stations as well as the organization or institution which is going to purchase the fly ash. So this has also been mandated. Now the target, as we have already seen, the target was to utilize 100% of the fly ash by December 2017, which has not been fulfilled, and because of that the NGT is taking the cognizance, and here there is mandatory use of fly ash based products in the government schemes, as we have discussed in the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana as well as the MG Narega related works. And here also it is mandated that the red clay based brick clinks should be converted to the fly ash based brick clinks within the within the reach of 300 kilometers in the vicinity of thermal power stations. And for that matter, the thermal power stations will also help out and also provide the subsidy as well as technical support to these brick clinks to convert from red clay brick clinks to the fly ash based brick clinks. And here the GST, which was earlier 18% on the purchase of fly ash, sale and purchase of fly ash, now it has been reduced to 5%. It is also a great initiative because the fly ash disposal, proper scientific utilization and disposal is quite important to address the problem of environmental pollution. And here if the GST would have been high, then the cost of product which are based on the fly ash could have overshoot, and if the GST is less, then the cost of production will be less and the organizations and institutions will be in better position to utilize the fly ash for producing various materials. A mobile app also been used, that is AshTrack, to provide the information to various purchasers about the availability of the fly ash with different thermal power stations, and they will be in better position to make informed choice as well as they will be in better position to manage the sourcing of their raw material, to schedule the purchase of their raw material. And here another notification was published in February 2019, and through this, as we have discussed, the existing red clay brick clinks within the 300-meter area of the thermal power station should be converted to fly ash based brick clinks, and the thermal power stations should support such conversion. So here this was the flow of the answer that should be there, and there may be some deviation also, and if you people are having some suggestions, then provide us. And here in the conclusion, we should write that the renovation and modernization of the thermal power stations is needed so that it would be better to reduce the production of the fly ash itself. Better utilization of the coal, better technology, better separation of the fly ash through electrostatic precipitator and other methods, so that doesn't find any way to the atmosphere and to pollute the atmosphere. Thereafter, policy support, like the government should provide such kind of policy, such kind of direction should be given to the institutions so that there is better utilization of the fly ash. Different organizations go on to use the fly ash for producing different materials, as well as the building material standardization is also needed, like what should be the quality of the product, size of product, etc., so that it would find a well organized market. The fly ash product should be finding a well organized market in the Indian construction field. Okay, and here the industry and institution interaction is also needed, because there is also need of various research and developmental work, so that other various different products can be developed through using fly ash as the raw material. So this would be the flow of our answer. And here the last but not the least, we are going to launch the offline course for the foundation batch of UPSC General Studies Foundation course has been announced, and that will be for 2023. This course will be for 2023 batch, and here the prelims comes mains batch will be there, which will be of 32 weeks duration, and here the students will be provided offline classes. Here you will find the dedicated lecture, as well as you will be provided with the study material also, as well as personal mentoring will also be there, and you will be in a better position to crack the UPSC civil services in first attempt itself. And the batches will be starting on 3rd January 2022. All the syllabus will be covered exhaustively, and here we are also providing the early bird discount of 33%. So those students who register early in the courses, as the seats are limited, so as soon as the limited seats will be filled off, thereafter there will be no discount. Till that time 33% discount is there. So we are providing the course which is costing 75,000 in just 50,000 only, and this course will cover holistically the complete syllabus of the UPSC course, UPSC exam, that is pre cum mains, so the thing will be left behind. So here we finish off. Thank you very much, and for further information and other things, you can visit our website, that is www.computology.com. there all the information have already been provided along with the syllabus, as well as for the questions and other things, other related informations. You may also follow us on our social media channels. This is the handle for Facebook and Instagram. This is the handle for our Telegram channel, and do subscribe our channel and press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new videos. Thank you very much and have a nice day.